more about Irene and what she's doing.
Yeah, and really we are taking a pasting right now, certainly according to the radars and according to all the reports that are coming in through Facebook. This has been a remarkable tool today. It's really the first time in any kind of severe weather coverage history here at CBS 6 we've been able to utilize such a tool in this manner to allow you to talk to us, and the reports really are amazing. We've got a report now that Route 22 between North Hillsdale and Austerlitz is underwater in 4 spots, although traffic is still going through, and that's a very disconcerting statement because you never want to drive through a flooded road. The reason for that is you don't know how deep the water is. It doesn't take much. 6 to 12 inches is going to take a car and float it, especially a small one, so that's probably the absolute worst thing you could possibly think about. So if you are traveling, which we are not recommending, and you come across a flooded roadway, turn around, don't drown. Do not drive through floodwaters, and floodwaters are extensive across the region. This is important, and maybe Liz can help with this over the next couple of minutes. I'm getting a lot of questions through Facebook about how the Gilboa Dam is holding up, if there's any information about the Gilboa Dam. It's pretty tough. It's a pretty tough dam. I'm sure it's in fine condition. I don't know that for a fact, but we're going to get our newsroom calling on that, and as soon as we have the answer, if we can get any information as to how the dam is doing, we will certainly pass that along to you. But a number of questions on that now coming through here on Facebook. A report from Kevin in North Greenbush, no trees down, and the power lines are still up. So we've got okay conditions, at least as of that post, and that's really fairly consistent with what we would expect a storm like this to do. Fits and bursts. We get these big blasts of wind, and at times the wind really drops off, and it looks like not a lot is going on out there, and that is exactly what we have seen through the course of this storm this morning. Winds have gusted as high as 54. That was one observation from Albany, and winds still gusting likely to that level, especially across higher elevations. So again, a big deal across the region, with the biggest deal now turning into a major to possibly massive flood situation developing across the region. This is Tropical Storm Irene, top wind 60 miles an hour. It continues to accelerate to the north and east. It's up into Litchfield County. It's running probably an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours ahead of yesterday's schedule. That's really remarkable in terms of forecast accuracy, but it is moving quickly now, and that's boding very well for Berkshire, Litchfield, and now into southern Bennington County, where we're seeing a reduction in the intensity of rainfall. However, this lobe of rain here that's now sitting on the capital region is of great concern because it's essentially somewhat stationary and looks to stay that way through perhaps the next couple of hours. Projection at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 60-mile-an-hour tropical storm. It's heading up into Vermont. We're still prone for tropical storm force wind gusts right through the afternoon. Even as the rain starts to diminish, tropical storm wind gusts are likely with the system. Instant Doppler 6 now, again, showing the intensity of the rain in the Hudson Valley up into Saratoga County, Schenectady County, Schoharie County, still in portions of Greene and Columbia County, although some drying is working in from the south. A report from one of our WeatherNet 6 spotters down getting into the Chatham area that the rain has lightened up a bit. It's really lightened up in Berkshire and Litchfield counties. That's very, very good news. You're probably going to see a little bit of this swinging in a bit later in the afternoon, but I think in your areas the torrential rain is winding down, and even up into Bennington we're looking at some reduction in the rain. But this area is kind of at the pivot point as the center of circulation tracks up like this. So this kind of sits and spins for an hour or two and remains this intense, perhaps puts out an additional 2 to 3 inches, maybe locally 4, where terrain enhancement is occurring. And we've already got reports of 6 to 7 to 8 to maybe even 9 inches of rain in parts of these regions. So a significant scenario here with flooding ongoing across especially the Catskills and expanding north, not to mention the wind scenario that continues. We're going to send it over to meteorologist Eric Torgerson with a little bit more on ESP with what's happening with the rain. Eric.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. ESP, our radar system here, and I'll show you the loop once again here over the past 3 hours as Irene now making her way, at least the center, up into Litchfield and Berkshire County. So center now right about in here, and this back edge of the center really is this heavy band of rain which extends from Columbia County up through Rensselaer to southern Washington and Bennington counties. Does look like it has weakened a little bit over the past half hour, but still some torrential rains in this area, and as Steve was mentioning, also this second secondary batch of now very large area of steady and heavy rain here across the eastern Catskills up through the capital region and the southern Adirondacks as well. So let's take a closer look at that band here first, out into Rensselaer and Columbia counties in the vicinity of Chatham Center and Grafton, down to just to the west of Stephentown. We are seeing that band of pretty heavy rain right now in Rensselaer, Columbia counties. A little bit lighter out towards the east across the Berkshires, down towards Litchfield County, where things are quieting down a bit, at least now in terms of the rainfall. But we do still have the potential for those strong gusty winds, especially in that band there, that heavier band, which is about in this area right in here, that heavier band of rain, where some of these wind gusts, which we are plotting occurring right now just above the surface, might mix down to the surface. So 35 to 45 mile per hour gusts, a possibility in that heavy band there in that spot I've outlined in yellow, with that very heavy band of rain and perhaps a couple rumbles of thunder in there as well. So we'll watch that wind gust threat as well as that threat for the heavy rainfall in these areas. Further south, things are quieting down again. Litchfield County down towards Dutchess County and even Ulster County now, Kingston on south, drying out a little bit as the back edge of the rain is lifting northward as Irene lifts off to the north as well. Further west, kind of a lighter rain as well back towards the Delaware and Otsego County areas, but up into the Adirondacks, Mohawk Valley now, we are certainly seeing some pretty hefty rainfall rates here across the eastern Mohawk Valley, especially towards Amsterdam, Broadalbin, back towards Corinth, and up towards Glens Falls, Warrensburg, and the Chestertown area as well up in Warren County. So some pretty heavy rainfall still continues across most of the area. We'll take a look at the radar estimates here. And again, as Steve was mentioning, perhaps there are some error here in the radar in central Greene County, where the radar is estimating some extreme totals now. Hard to get a pinpoint on that exact what that white amount is, but probably in excess of 10 to 12 inches here on radar. So it's a possibility that amounts are that high, but no weather spotters have confirmed amounts that high just yet. But certainly central Greene County, regardless of just how much rain has fallen, is certainly one of the biggest areas of concern right now. Also down towards Ulster County, rainfall estimates here on the amounts of 5 to 6 inches. Fortunately, again, things are drying out now in this Ulster, Dutchess County area. But up north, now we're seeing the radar estimates fill in the rainfall up toward the Grafton area, down towards the Chatham Center, back towards Altamont, where that rain is pretty heavy right now. So we're estimating rainfall amounts of 4 to 6 inches in these areas. And again, this area is in heavy rain right now, so we'll be adding at least probably another 2 more inches to these rainfall totals in that area, as well as up to the north, where we had seen lighter totals so far, and that continues to be the case. But we're now seeing amounts of 3 to 4 inches, parts of Saratoga and Warren County, and amounts up to 2.5 inches across parts of the Adirondacks. So the heavy rain continuing across most of the area right now. And again, as the one last look at the loop here shows, as Steve was mentioning, that's fairly stationary over the immediate capital region. So we've got a good bit more of heavy rain to go through. All right, we'll send things back to Steve over at the Weather Wall with another rundown of Facebook and check the graphics.
All right, Eric, here is the update again on the flood scenario. Everybody's under some kind of a flood warning this afternoon, and in fact, we don't have this picture available for air yet. We'll work on that. I just had a picture posted on my Facebook page down in Tannersville. There is raging water down this particular street in Tannersville, down here in Greene County. I mean, raging water. Cars appear to be submerged halfway up the door. So we certainly know there is a significant flood situation playing out in Tannersville right now in Greene County. And we've had reports out towards Hockett of bridge closures and evacuations around Fleischman. In fact, Nicole reports she has a family member near Schoharie, and that family member has been evacuated, likely due to flooding. So the reports continue to indicate a serious flood situation developing across portions of the area. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up in the next few minutes. Right now, we'll send it over to Liz.